Still laying down on the ground, getting some work done himself, but that's usual at this time of the game for the sub. So it's looked very interesting down here, guys. I'm really not sure what's going on with him, but I think he'll probably get another 5-10 minutes and see how he goes.
Heppel's a loose for the Bombers, and Michael Johnson, of course, is the extra tall and playing loose across halfback, as he's done right throughout the last few years for the Dockers.
Fremantle are winning the clearances 10-6. But Essendon look like they're going to snaffle this one. Hibbert had to wait a little longer than he would have liked, so Watson's kick then was hurried, and the domino effect. Well done, Stanton, to improve the situation for the Bombers. The fumble could have been costly by Heppel, but not so. Watson onto the right boot. It was a hurried kick into the 50, and you can see the result.
So the Bombers have got the extra at the stoppage and through the middle, but if they're going to take advantage of it, that kick has got to be better than just going to an opposition tall.
The ball would have got himself dizzy there as he was spinning around, hoping, and eventually found a teammate. On the way out, it's McFarlane delivering for Mzungu. Scores level. Opening minute of the second here at Patterson Stadium. Pearce, up to his namesake, did him absolutely no favours. Stanton, who's been super busy so far, 16 disposals, would you believe, hands it straight back to Mzungu.
Well, it was a risk because he had to go there. It was the only place he could have gone, or kick it to the pocket and hope a player that goes on to it and it runs out of play, rather than kick it more central, because McFarlane was the only Dockers defender back who would have turned it over anyway.
He's a welcome inclusion in this side, Zach Clark. He really finished off last year in probably playing his very best football for his career, and he's had a slow start with the injury, as we all know, but he does really help them just with their balance, and that's what's lacking for the Bombers. They're going to have to find a way, a different way than they normally do to goal.
Pearce, and he can't find Mundy down the line. Once again, Mundy suffering from being, I guess, their lone genuine star midfielder. He's only had the 2 disposals so far. Heath Hocking doing an outstanding job.
And you'd expect him to go to full forward at some stage as well, Hardo, but this bloke here is a dynamo, and he really is a match breaker for them.
Yeah, he's the wild card, isn't he, you'd think, for Fremantle. He's become a mighty fine player. Some extra attention handed out to Hayden Ballantyne.
He's led up really well today. He's been hard at it, and he's won some good football.
Clark is deep. Almost the opportunity for Taberner. Welcome to the big time. Lovely goal.
Good finish in the end, Hutto, and I thought it was Mzungu. I had my eyes on Mzungu. It looked like he was going to go for the big leap and try and take mark of the year, as this was coming in from Hayden Ballantyne. And you see Mzungu there just to get under the footy. But Taberner with the best recovery at ground level.
Played 4 games late last year, and after battling some glandular fever in the pre-season last year, he kicked a couple of goals. It's a big stage today at Patterson Stadium.
Advantage of that left foot. And Ewan, he had him blocked on the right, but he just whipped out onto the natural left.
Looks a real nice athletic size too, doesn't he, Taberner?
Yep.
Sandilands with it all to himself as he tapped it down for Hill, who's going to be getting plenty of attention, you would think, from the Bombers midfielders from now on. Zaharakis counters well for the Bombers. Stretches out Bagley in a hurry. Kicks to half forward, and Hardingham did all the hard work. Unfortunately left the footy behind from an Essendon point of view. So McFarlane gangs up there with Johnson. In a languid style, the ball dropped down to De Boer, and then across to McFarlane, who delivers for Taberner up to meet it. One-on-ones ahead. Pavlich and Hurley slugging it out. Interference on the arm.
On top here now, Fremantle. The Bombers have got a hold, and hold strongly.
And swarming down. Oh, there's a...
That's the get out of jail card. That'd be killing Ross Lyon, because he, like I think a lot of people watching, senses an opportunity for Fremantle to get a gap on the scoreboard, and you just give it back.
Collier did well, outnumbered, got it to Danyle. Too fierce was the handball. Pearce. Now Johnson again mopping up for Fremantle. Turns Van Ewan inside out, Collier inside out, kicks to half forward, but well judged by Heppel.
Got just coming back on, guys.
All right. We'll see where he goes. In fact, he's going forward, as you'd expect. Watson, so they shuffle it around again. Hibbert.
Good movement here from the Bombers. Really good down the middle.
And Gleeson knows he must use it, must put it through. Could have handballed over the top. Took it on himself, the young man, uninhibited by the big time.
And that'll be the solution for the Bombers. If they can get that fast break through the middle of the ground, Jono, then they can get over the top or get through the defence from the Dogs. But once again, it was given back to them on a silver platter with Michael Johnson just butchering the ball. It's not his normal style. He is generally a sensational kick, hits targets. But the running power of Gleeson that's been added to this side, I think, is a feature, and it may well be significant at the end of the year.
Well, there's the chain, and it ended with Martin Gleeson being really impressive. He was picked 53 in the 2012 draft, played 13 games in the VFL as a half forward last year, and has come in, and in his 4th game he looks very much at home in the AFL. Mundy copping plenty of attention that time, and the pressure just grows and grows in this game as Essendon once again levelling the scores with that last goal.
It's the turnover, Hutto. It's the turnover from Fremantle, 50 to 70 out. If you turn the ball over there, especially central, normally it reverts into a goal going back the other way.
So as Jared said, Essendon with their spare up at the contest, Fremantle with their spare across half-back, and they utilised it again with Michael Johnson. Taberner called LBW there on the wing, and the ball over the line.
Goddard coming off again, guys. So we're obviously really struggling with that leg complaint at the moment.
Just seeing how long I guess they can use him for the rotations, Moons. But
look at those hit-out numbers, Hutto. 18 to 2. He's having a field day in there, as you'd expect, Aaron Sandlands. And I've liked the way he's tried to find some more space. He knows he's got total domination. He's popped a couple into the space 2 or 3 metres away. Hill and Mundy generally are the targets.
12-8 the clearances. Zaharakis. Crowley, straight into Jobe Watson, who gave him plenty on the tackle, and you'd expect nothing less.
Let's take a look at Aaron Sandlands, and this is the one I like, the pop. Haven't seen the pop from Big Sandy for a while, and then another little tap to space to Mundy, and another one here. Just really good work to Mundy. Didn't get the absolute clearance, but you can just see how potent it could be as this game unfolds.
Keeping it in tight, Hocking and Neal more interested in each other than the footy as the ball goes to half forward. The double fist from Clancy Pearce, and straight back over the chalk again. Moons.
Yeah, it's been made down here. Goddard obviously subbed out of the game. That left leg complaint, adductor or the left groin, with Jeddock now coming on, guys.
Well, there's over 700 games of experience in players going out with the late changes, the 3 out of the side, and add to that now Brendan Goddard, 230 games worth. So Essendon certainly a much more inexperienced lineup than they would have desired. Leroy Jetta is the sub, of course. He's played 91, so he's certainly been there before, but not the balance they would have liked this early on, John.
He's going to have to do plenty of work around the midfield today. But that's where Sandlands, his last few hits have been to his hip. He let that one go away a little bit, exactly where Essendon were set up.
Red hot in the centre of Patterson Stadium. The Bombers just staying above water with their use by hand. Gleeson out wide for Jetta. So kick it a bit, almost 2 full kicks out from goal, really. Zach Clark is back filling the hole, so he goes wider than that. Instead, Howlett trying hard, but couldn't get it done.
That's the kick they've got to avoid. If they're going to go short, and they're doing it through the middle and out of defence, they've almost got to look for it even more so coming into the forward 50.
Now, Pavlich, all the thoughts rushing through his head. He finally saw De Boer out wide on the wing. A fumble from De Boer. It's about the recovery, and the recovery was good. He leaves Hocking behind. Drilled it into the middle to Mr. Nobody over Mzungu's head. Now it comes to Mzungu. They still might get out of it, but then again they might not. Such tight quarters in there. Danyle off to Collier. Just got it away to Hocking. Can't afford to fumble or look the wrong way. You'll get crunched. Here at Patterson Stadium out wide. Now it's Crowley. Takes it and goes with the aggressive kick. Taberner over his head. Fisted strongly to ground. Bombers defence. Now their turn to work overtime. Hooker. Get it out of there, kick. Back to the wing. Which way will it bounce? It favoured McFarlane with all that guile. And he works it back to Pearce. And now to Clark and McFarlane again. And they thrush forward Fremantle. And that's a pretty well-placed ball for Pavlich. But Hurley read it best. Here's Ballantyne. Puts it in his pocket at half forward. Turns quickly. Sharp kick. Great kick. And hits up Pearce.
Pressure all round, Hutto. But in the end, Fremantle able to get a good ball forward. I think Hurley thought he was going to be able to take an easy chest mark on the back of his first contest. Got first-handed. It's turned. Ballantyne, the smart player that he is, was able to pick it out of his pocket and then use it well inside to Pearce, going for his second goal today.
So, as you said, Danyle Pearce already kicked a goal. He's kicked 5 for the season in his 4th match. And you can hear the gasp, the groans from the crowd here as he misses to the left. And again, goals are going to be very precious today. Low scoring encounter so far.
It's a really intriguing game, though. You've got the Dockers. We know they've got so much quality missing, but they've got a better balance of talls and smalls or runners and key targets. But the Bombers have also lost some really significant players. But if they can fix their kicking up, they look to have that extra little bit of running power that may be significant as this game goes on.
Stands as they feed it around. Howlett was able to move just at the right time.
You've got to hit targets. That was a risky kick, a brave kick, but it set up an opportunity to goal.
How good was Gleeson again? Jetta backs his pace. He sees off to Bohr and then gives it plenty to full forward. Winderlich simply must. And he takes the mark. Now, will he run around quickly? He's missed his chance.
So they get an opportunity, Jono, from a really brave kick to the middle. If it goes over, turns over, well, you pay the price. But it's going to be that sort of game, I think, for Essendon. They're going to have to be creative if they're going to win.
He simply ignored the umpire. Then he said 1 more metre, and he just said, no, this is my angle. This is what I've got to do, and I will do it. And Winderlich does.
It's about taking the risk, and they were able to take the risk. Gleeson again involved in the middle of the ground, but then it was Jetta with his run and taking on Gleeson there with the mark, but over to Jetta coming on as a sub to replace Goddard, who's out of the game injured. And on the back of this, De Boer is sore after that. He was holding his arm for quite some time, but then to get distance in the kick after that run, and Winderlich just with the control, the composure. And an excellent finish for the Bombers, who have responded after being under some sort of pressure from Fremantle.
And there it is, that really creative kick from Gleeson. We'll call it creative. We might have called it something else if it had been intercepted, but it does set up the goal. And just looking at their structure, you've now got Watson in the full forward line. I think they're almost as advantaged by going small in the forward line because they can't beat the height and the power of the key defenders.
That could be the first time he's ever been caught high, Sandlands. Howlett was the infringer.
I think he grew a lot when he was young, Hutto, so in those early years he might have copped one.
Out wide to Spur and into the 50 with ease for Fremantle. We haven't said that too many times today.
Well, it's going to be the team that capitalises from inside 50s today. Both sides so far in this game have only had 11 each, so a lot is being played from in between both 50s on the ground, and if you get the opportunities today, you're going to have to make the most of them, because forwards mightn't see a lot of it.
I think we're going to see a fair bit of Mundy in the forward line if Hocking stays with him.
So David Mundy, a couple of goals so far this year. It's a beautiful looking kick. The expectations grow as it heads through the middle. Fremantle back in front. What a contest.
It's a great game without doubt. Just go back half a dozen years when Mark Harvey was coaching the Dockers. So often you saw David Mundy had pushed to full forward and play that role, so he's not foreign to that position. He's got himself super fit over the last 4 or 5 years. That's clearly a free kick. Probably a little bit of nervousness there until it's cleared by the match committee or the review panel. But a great finish by David Mundy.
Inside 50s in this game. It's an astonishing stat, really. 11 all.
But it's low numbers.
Halfway through the second quarter.
So you see there, when both sides going in, they are getting their opportunities. So it's really played in the mid-zone of the ground at the moment from both sides.
Well, the Bombers clear the ball, despite the fact that the first possession was to the Dockers. But those long bombs are killing them. They've just got to somehow slow it down until they can find a way through.
You've almost got to get a message out, Jared. If you're going to kick it from a stoppage, kick it wide to the boundary, get another stoppage and start again. You know that they've got the spare man back. Any high kick, long kick inside 50 is going to be intercepted.
Donna striking his more usual pose there. Watching intently, though.
Subin's the free.
Fremantle lead by 1. Up to their 50 again. Hooker, diligent. Couldn't quite complete it. And Ballantyne only needed a little bit. And he takes a lot. Unfortunately for him, his kick not great. Enough, though, to extend the lead to a couple.
It would have been a lucky one if that had gone through. I think Bomber agrees it would have been lucky if that went through, but that's just Ballantyne in around the contest. He'll, as you said, you give him an inch, he takes a mile.
This is where they're vulnerable, the Dockers, because all the forwards, all the defenders from Fremantle are up the ground, so there's plenty of space. Now they've got the long fast break opportunity, but good defence. They didn't take it. Windleditch was charging forward. And then they're going to face the Giants comparatively.
So this is Collier.
And this suits Fremantle. They've slowed it up. They're happy now for them to try and turn around the long kick.
Collier in for his first game for the year.
That's just a non-thinking kick.
But it is Carlisle's on his hands and knees standing at half forward. He was on Sandland. Jerry might be tired, but that's your chance to push forward, create the outlet for your teammate and get the ball out of play so that you can start again.
He's labouring a bit at the moment. Carlisle.
But you'd understand it. It's hot out there. Yeah. Tough conditions, no doubt. But
Hill for Taberner. Just couldn't ride it out after looking impressive early in that contest. Watson was there to sweep it up. Unfortunately, the handball from Hibbert straight back into Fremantle hands. Mzungu into the pocket. Tough for Pavlich. And again, we're going to see a throw in.
Well, I think coming into this match, Ross Lyon would have been happy if it was a 10 versus 8 goal game, given that he's lacking 35% of his scoring power from last year. And 4 goals apiece midway through the second term. He's probably got what he was chasing.
Sandilands again. Subin took them on. Crowley. Merritt, Mzungu, Ashby, Subin. There's nowhere to go, but he found a path. Unfortunately, it's over the line. Indeed, when they met in that game where Essendon came from 6 goals down at half-time, Jared, at the start of last year, Mayne kicked 3, Walters and Fyfe kicked 2 each.
Watch for Clark to come over the top here, possibly with Sandlands there. Good work by Zaharakis.
Yeah, good block.
Yep.
None of those 3 playing today.
And nobody got multiple goals just yet. 8 goals for 8 individual goal kickers.
This is Winderling. Back for Merritt, so it's all hands on deck. And unfortunately, it's going straight back in, or maybe not. And you'll need another crack at this, Cameron Sutcliffe.
No, it's good work, though, from Carlisle. That blockage there is just taking the heat away. He's going to probably go into the ruck, or is he going to call Joe Danaher in? So he's going for Joe Danaher. I think they'd almost be advised to conserve their midfielders, their rucks, stocks for just the ruck, and go small in the forward half.
Stephen Hill in the ruck that time. It gets down to Pavlich. Again, it's Ballantyne, and again, they're not sure where he's going, but his handball went straight to Van Hewen, who's able to whisk it away out to half-back. And Howlett leaves it behind. Michael Johnson,
good pressure.
Amazing agility and pressure for a big bloke. Sutcliffe. Work it and get it back. And some instructions on it as the kick goes. Scooting into half forward again. Bit of a fumble and a scrap from Zaharakis. Put Stanton on the back foot. He was harassed by Mzungu, who never gives up. And the Bombers are under pressure here again. Subin takes his turn in the kitchen and he gets crushed. 7:20 in a grueling second quarter.
Well, good skills there from Van Hewen, who was able to intercept a really clever football, and I think Ashby's also showing a lot of talent here for the Bombers.
Heppel, and eventually taken away from Danaher and Stanton back towards the line.
Well, they're going with no ruckman at the moment. The Dockers, Hill taking the last 2 with Clark off the ground and Sandlands deep forward.
Yeah, interesting that they would do that for any length of time, Jono.
Yep. Just confusion possibly in the rotation.
Howlett found an exit. And now, Merritt just says no, calm down.
Cameron, they're trying to get Zach Clark onto the ground, are they not?
Yeah, I was just saying he's just been standing down here for a couple of minutes, Jared, trying to get back on. But unfortunately, no one wanted to come off, so that's why they're down in their rotation in the ruck, Brad.
Great pick-up, Moons. He's coming on now. Crowley coming off the ground. Sandlands is now pushed up, so Clark will go forward off the bench.
Sandlands again. Danyle there to try and counter him. Melksham squeezed out a little kick. Zaharakis. Pearce. Squashed. Neil. Back to Hill. Taberner got nudged. Umpire ticks it. Says that's all right. Hibberd swiftly across to Hooker, knowing that on the end of it Stanton was clapping his hands, waiting for it, but he's going to see nothing that he likes down the line. Oh, he does. Good running from Danyle to create that option for him.
Just noticed Heath Hocking got a bit of sunstroke. Didn't see what caused it, but he was on the ground.
It can be quite fierce here in Perth, Jared.
Particularly if you're in that tagging role.
So Stanton has had a mountain of footy. His 23rd disposal in the first half. Hibberd. Crowd getting impatient. 2 points the margin. Fremantle in front here at Patterson Stadium. Howlett pushed, shoved and marked it well against Pearce.
Back to Jeddah.
Look at him, he's charging Jeddah. Oh, Dawson closes him out the first time and the second, but Jeddah was still standing, and Jeddah needed to make that one head through, but he couldn't.
Yeah, we had Melksham there in support, who was probably doing the screaming, but Jeddah hasn't got that absolute electric pace for the little fellow to break away from some of his taller opponents. So he was always going to be under some pressure, whether it be perceived or fair dinkum.
Neil comes away, kicks it into the middle. And there's Collier, was able to round it up for the Bombers. So again, the team unable to take it from one end and pierce the inside 50 mark.
Good grab.
Danyle.
Good grab. Good kick too.
Winderlick waiting on the bench there to try and get on the ground. They wouldn't mind him having him in the forward 50, I think, at the moment.
With that last kick going forward, wouldn't have been bad if Winderlick was the one charging onto it.
Yeah, he's the small forward of choice for mine. In fact, as I said a couple of times, I think they're better off just conserving the energy of Joe Danyle and Carlisle for the ruck work and pushing them in deep into defence and just charging forward. Here's Hurley, who's taking Michael Johnson. Maybe he's going to have a crack up there.
He does have a crack once and then goes back a second time. He's going to get a... No.
Oh.
Gee. I think he thought it was his free kick. Must have been I did as well.
Yeah, so did I. I thought he was slung while not in possession.
Johnson back to the wing, bangs it up. Let's see the height department. Pavlich, the experience department as well.
Mundy charging. Great kick.
And he takes the mark. Now Crowley pushing back to goal. He's got young Ashby. He's trying to turn him around in circles. Instead, he goes for the pace of Pearce. Captures it well. Instant kick. Bombers have more numbers and height. And strength back there. And well played, Melksham. And in numbers again, Bagley short. Gets it across to Hooker. The next call up the line is from Zaharakis. Possession number 10 coming up for David Zaharakis. Essendon 214 total disposals to Fremantle's 165. All that for just 13 inside 50s. Howlett.
Yeah, it's just all about maintaining possession. They just can't afford the basic skill errors like that from Danyle.
I thought it was self-inflicted, that, from his teammate, but replays will tell us whether it was or not.
Oh, yeah.
It was. High contact, that was called. He's come up a bit sore and sorry, David Mundy.
Jerry, you've got to love the way Bombers coached today. We know Essendon have taken a lot of marks this half. He's 64 for the half. And we saw last week against Hawthorn, they gave up 130 marks. So again, it's about keeping that ball off Fremantle, and they're doing it so well today. Essendon, that's really what's kept them in the game.
Look at the numbers up there at half forward, and Clark, Sandlands both couldn't mark it. Unfortunately, Bagley's undone all his good work, kicked it out on the full.
Yeah, the issue I think is going to be just how many goals can Essendon kick, because I think as this game becomes more of an issue that involves fatigue, I think the more the height of Fremantle is going to become a factor.
And it almost was then. but just not quite. So they dodge another one, the Bombers. Hibbert, interesting kick. Takes it out to the line. He's happy if it goes over. It has. So if you just joined us, Brendan Goddard subbed off with a groin injury. He was in pain even in the pre-match, and they decided to play him. Of course, they'd made 3 changes with David Myers sick, and they left Chapman and Dustin Fletcher behind. Dustin last seen watching a local footy match yesterday in Essendon. Fremantle lead by 1, delicately poised. No shortage of numbers around the footy today.
Grabbed his leg. He's always going to drag the free kick there, Subin, and he has an opportunity to extend the lead.
Well, he can bomb the ball. Yep. He loves to kick it long, Nick Subin, but he's going to run a bit of an arc, take his chance. It's drifting, but it holds enough. Big strike for Freo just before the half.
Well, he worked hard to drag the free kick, did Nick Subin. But eventually the umpire just had to pay it because I think it was Heppel who just would not let go in the finish. And in the end, the umpire just had to pay it. But the finish was superb. On the arc, as so many left footers do, finish well.
Nick Subin gives Fremantle its 5th goal. As we said, low-scoring encounter, just 9 goals so far. Fremantle edging ahead of the inside 50 count too, 18-13 now. Clark got the tap down. They were charging in off the wing with great velocity. It was De Boer.
Hurley still forward, Hutto.
Okay. Howlett scrambling around in there for the Bombers. Collier having a go at it as well. Lays a good tackle. Watson in the crush, well paddled. They've been able to answer a few times, the Bombers. The challenge laid down to them from Fremantle. Hill, skim across half-back. McFarlane to Sutcliffe to Subin back. No, he decides not to give it back. Instead, off the left, out for Mundy. As his side set on Duffield, working the 45, back through the middle perhaps, or the switch.
Yeah, the dangerous kicks, though, those that are 20 metres or more to get some space. If you kick it 10, 15 metres, people putting pressure on you, the kicker ends up putting it on the bloke receiving it.
No damage done. The forwards wait in their positions, pretty much one-on-one down along the line, and that'll suit Matthew Pavlich.
Smart kick.
Comes out, hugs in the mark.
He actually kicked it to the space. He forced Matthew Pavlich. You may have pointed to him, that's where I'm going, but he wasn't in front when that ball was released. And that's the latest trend in core temperature management, Hutto.
Good Aussie tradition. Lucky Neil. So Matthew Pavlich, is it beyond him from here, Jared?
I think he's got the distance. Accuracy's the issue.
Accuracy is no issue for Matthew Pavlich. What about that? We saw a great goal from Watson earlier, and now one from Pavlich on the half-time siren.
Well, it's been a big tussle, but a couple of goal gap just prior to half-time is a serious psychological advantage for the Dockers going into the long break. And when it's your skipper who nails one from a difficult angle, it's a really big lifter. This is a smart kick from Zach Dawson. You could see there that Pavlich wasn't in front. He knew the space was there. And Zach Dawson has come up with a very creative pass to give Pavlich a shot at goal.
Great time for Matthew Pavlich to join the goal kickers list this afternoon. 6 goals to 4, and the advantage is now to 13 points. As the seconds tick away, it's a big body blow to the Bombers, who have fought so gallantly in this match so far. They've lost Brendan Goddard, and now they're 13 points behind, Jarrett. They did it. They came back from 6 goals last year, though.
I wouldn't be writing the Bombers off. No. They've got so much running power, so they've got that advantage, but they haven't got the height. So they're going to have to absolutely run more than they've run even at any stage this season. Got some serious players that need to